Hello everyone, this is from RJC Tutorials, and in this video we will going to discuss on how to interpret a basic ladder diagram. So stay tuned and let's learn together. Welcome back viewers. This is the diagram that we are going to interpret. This is an example of a ladder diagram of a basic start-stop control circuit, or also known as a direct online starter. Before we make any interpretations, let us first identify each components of our control circuit or our ladder diagram. Let us first identify our overload relay. I will show you an actual image and a actual symbol of the overload relay. As shown in the images, the overload relay is a normally closed contact and is numbered by 95 and 96. Always remember that the overload relay does not protect the control circuit, but it protects the power circuit or the load side of the magnetic contactor. When there is any trouble within the control circuit, it doesn't mean that it will trip off the overload relay. It will only trip off the circuit breaker that is feeding the control circuit. Our overload relay is in closed position, so it allows current to pass through at all times unless there is a problem to the load side of the power circuit. Now, next is our normally closed push button or stop push button. As shown in the image, the stop push button is colored red, meaning stop. The normally closed push button is always at closed position unless you push it and will become an open contact. The third component that we are going to discuss is the normally open push button. The normally open push button is also known as the start push button. This push button, when pressed, will allow current to pass through to the A1 terminal of the holding coil. But once you release it, it will open up its contacts and cuts off any electricity from going through. And the next part, the fourth component of our control circuit, is the auxiliary contact of our magnetic conductor. This auxiliary contact is part of the holding coil or the magnetic conductor. This is a built-in auxiliary contact or an additional auxiliary contact of the magnetic conductor. But most of the time, the normally open auxiliary contact is built-in within the magnetic conductor. This is always at normally open position, which doesn't allow electricity to pass through its terminals unless the magnetic conductor is energized. This is usually numbered by 13 and 14. The last part of our control circuit is our holding coil or the operating coil. The holding coil is usually symbolized with a letter A1 and A2. It is usually symbolized as a square shape or a round shape. In this diagram, I only put a square shape symbol of the magnetic coil. Now, after identifying and understanding the components of our control circuit, let us now proceed in interpreting our ladder diagram. I'm gonna give you a tip in how to interpret a ladder diagram properly. Always start at a point where you think is a good point that you will not get confused in interpreting the diagram. In my case, I always start at the line 1 of the diagram when I'm reading a ladder diagram. Always start at line 1. You can also start at line 2, but maybe you will get confused. It's always important to start at a single point, which is or a point where you will not get confused. So for me, always start at line 1 for easier understanding of the circuit and prevention of short circuits or interchanging line 1 and line 2. So as you can see, line 1 is connected to the 95 terminal of the overload relay's normally closed contact. And then the number 96 terminal of the overload relay is connected to one of the terminal of the stop push button. The stop push button can be interchanged. 96 can be connected to number 2 or 96 can be connected to number 1. It's either way, but it's good to follow the instructions so you will not get confused. After connecting 96 to terminal 1 of the stop push button or normally closed push button, you must now connect the second terminal of the stop push button to the first terminal of the start or normally open push button. After you connect the second terminal of the stop push button and the first terminal of the start push button, you must now connect the first terminal of the start push button to the number 13 of the auxiliary contact. You will find the auxiliary contact just above the contactor, or at some kind of contactor it is usually found in its bottom side, either the right side or the left side of the auxiliary contacts, usually at the bottom. But in the other bands, such as shown on the screen, the normally open push button is found on the top near the holding coil, which is symboled as A1 and A2. Our auxiliary contacts is always symboled as 13 and 14 in most cases. But if there is any additional normally open contacts, it is numbered differently. 13 and 14 is the most common number of the normally open auxiliary contact. After connecting the first terminal of the start push button to the first terminal of the auxiliary contact or number 13, you must now connect number 14 of the normally open auxiliary contact to the second terminal of the start push button. If you are asking why is this 1, 2, 3, 4, because the actual tagging of the standard of some push buttons is numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if you buy a stop push button, it is numbered, its terminals are numbered by 1 and 2, and a start push button is numbered by 3 and 4. The purpose of this, so that you will identify the proper setup of the push button, which is first and which is second. That's why it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. But in my discussion, I only identify it as the first terminal and the second terminal, so you can understand it more. After connecting number 14 terminal of the auxiliary contact to the second terminal of the start push button, you must now connect it to the A1 terminal of the holding coil. After connecting the one terminal of the start push button to the A1 of the holding coil, you must now connect the other side of the holding coil or A2 to line 2. Now, our interpretation is complete. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you learned something today. And always remember that practice makes perfect. Thank you and God bless.